It is the 4th of July and these bees are on a flow. I have never seen this before. Usually we're in a dearth on the 4th of July. From that point forward into the fall. Amazing. I don't know what they're getting on. But I've got sumac out here blooming and they're not on that. Vitex is blooming and there are a few bees on that, but I don't have much of that around here. But I don't know what they're getting. Same thing on this end. Hey folks, welcome back to Jerome Bee Farm and Homestead. It is the 4th of July 2025 and happy Independence Day to everyone. Hopefully you had a safe Independence Day, July 4th, and no one blew their hand off with a firecracker or got shot in the eyeball with a pop bottle rocket. So yeah, I hope everyone is okay and had a good time. So today, it's weird. You probably saw the shots I did of the hives. There's a flow going on, and I don't know what they're getting, and they're heading off to the north. It looks like to me. I thought maybe they were going and getting water there for a little bit, but I went down by the pond, and there's a few bees around the edge, but you know it's not like it is like in the dearth of the summer when it's hot and dry. There's not that many bees there, so I've walked back and forth from my pond between these hives and the pond. And it's just like a river of bees going by you, you know, when it's like that. But it's not like that today. They're coming out and up and they're headed north. I've got sumac blooming. They're not on that. I do have some vitex, and there are a few bees on that, but I don't have enough vitex to make that much activity. So I don't know. It's really strange. I've never seen that before. I was going to start pulling honey this morning. It was raining, so I didn't. The humidity got up to like 97% on my weather station, and right now it's in the 70% because the sun's been out for a while. But man, it's hot and muggy right now. So I think I'm going to possibly pull supers tomorrow and do my my honey pull video and the harvest. So with that said, again, this is a reminder, be sure on that video, you'll see how many supers I pull, and I'm going to have I think this is the 4th year in a row I've been doing this, guess the weight contest, and whoever guesses the closest will win a prize. There's going to be 4 big prizes from vendors from Hillco. John Hill is providing a 24-inch professional uncapping tank. Stainless steel, it's nice. It's over $600. I don't remember the exact price. Thank you, John Hill, for that. He's a super generous guy. So go give Hillco some business because he takes care of Jerome Bee Farm, and he's donated 3 years in a row, I believe. Guardian Bee Apparel is providing a lensed hood veil to put onto a Guardian jacket, or if you don't have a Guardian jacket, they talk like they might do gloves if you didn't have one of those and wanted gloves instead. Be Smart, I talked to them this week. They're going to provide what's called a duo, and that is their Be Smart's cover and an inner cover that's insulated. So thank you, Be Smart, for that. And they said they were going to send me some stuff to feature in some videos, so we'll be looking forward to an unboxing and checking that out. Also, Hive Alive is going to be providing one of their care package with all of their patties, fondant, liquid feed. I'm not sure what all is in there, but last year they gave a really nice package. Well over $100 worth of stuff from all these vendors. So, well, appreciate that from all of them. So today's video, I'm not going to be pulling the supers yet. I'm just going to follow up on that Hive 25, I think it is, that the Magic Mountain Mama was in, and see if I find a virgin queen in there. And I'm going to check on that little split where I transplanted the cell, see if we find a virgin queen in there, hopefully a mated queens. So I'm curious to see if a queen made it out and mated and was able to come back, and see if we got them in there. And I don't know, I'm not going to get on into hive 16 again. I'm just going to let that go for a while. And I got a bucket of feed here. I got 3 hives over here. I need to get some feed in to keep them growing and getting ready for the fall. So let's get in there and let's see if we can find us a queen. Okay, if you didn't see my last video, this Apame hive, I have it divided. So it's a 7-frame nuke, and I have it divided. And then I put 1 frame in here from that hive 25 and transplanted a queen cell on there. So I'm not seeing a single bee flying, except that one just flew in there. So I don't know if that was a robber or not. So there was everything they needed on that 1 frame. So there was capped brood, there was pollen, and there was nectar. So they had everything they needed on that frame and a decent population. So I'm just trying to get a queen mated in here. And I transplanted a queen cell, an emergency cell, onto that frame. Because there were multiple cells in that hive 25, and they didn't need all of those, so I cut one off and put it onto this frame. We may have an abscond here. I only left like 1 hole open for them. See how many carpenter ants. I didn't feed it because I was afraid that would attract carpenter ants. We may not have any bees in here. Oh no, there's a few. Well, that's promising. So this plastic Pierco frame here, it was just a blank, empty frame. Well, it had some drawn comb on it, but there was nothing in it. It was empty. So we're hoping to see a virgin queen in here. I don't see one there. They're fanning a lot. See how they're fanning? They'll do that when they're queenless. So that's not a good sign. Yeah, they're roaring in there too. Well, if we don't see a queen, I'll just move this back into the original hive. Well, here's where our queen cell was. It's gone. So this had a lot of brood, and they've actually been foraging, bringing in nectar. Would you look at that? There's a flow on. This little dinky hive brought all that shiny nectar in, because this was pretty full of brood right here, capped brood. Man, I wish I knew what that was they were bringing in. And here's that cell right here that I thought was a inferior queen cell. It looks like it's gone too, but don't know what came out of it, if anything. I don't see a queen. Yeah, look at all that shiny nectar in there. That's something else. Well, I wonder how many foragers are out. You know, I don't see a lot of flight. Well, there's a little bit coming in there now. That queen cell may not have been any good too. It was there, the one that I put on there. It was really a short cell, so it would have been a pretty tiny queen. I'm not seeing one. Let's get on over to 25. And later this evening, I'm just going to move these bees back over to their home hive, where they came from. Well, shoot. Yeah, I waited to come out here until these hives were in the shade. And here that is, number 25, with the Enduro wax dipped hive. It's full of water from the rain. Don't see any queens on the lid. There's probably 1 inch of nectar or liquid feed in there. Syrup. 1.5 parts water to 1 part sugar is what I'm feeding. And they've been bringing in a lot of nectar too. That's all liquid right there. It is amazing that there's this strong of a flow going on in July. Usually the bees are all bearded up and there's nothing out there. So I'm looking for virgin queen. So they had probably 3 cells left that could have emerged. We'll get to them here on this next frame or two. They are drawing that out. And they're putting either the syrup in there or what they foraged. I think this is the frame that had the cells on it. Yeah. Right there at the bottom. It's opened. Don't see a queen. That's an empty cup. They backfilled a lot in here. I don't know if that's forage or the syrup though. Maybe some of both. So this hive isn't fanning like that other one was. I've gone through hives like this before and never found queens, and then I'll come back 2 weeks later and they'll be all laid up by a queen that I just never could find. Man, that's full of nectar. It didn't have this much in it before. Not seeing one. Well, they've all emerged. That or they just took the cells down. So they're drawing that out. So all these nurse bees that are, or these young bees that are emerging, they have the active wax glands. They're drawing this out. And they filled that up there with nectar or syrup or both. Well, it appears queenless. I'm not gonna, these other frames are blank, so I'll bring that other frame from that other hive, the one that's queenless over there. I'll drop it in here and get them back up to their full strength on frames. Yeah, so this may be a bust. I don't know. We'll let it go for a while longer. Queen might be out on a mating flight right now. You know, all these bees flying. It's a good time to be out flying. So maybe she's out getting mated, if there's one in there. And so let's get over, and I got my bucket here. I've got 3 hives left over here that I didn't feed the other night. So I want to go ahead and get them fed. And let me show you this Hive 365 real quick. So I've been building it up and feeding it. So let's take a peek in here real quick. So I filled this up, I think it was yesterday. And it looks like it's already empty. Man, it is. So they should be built out. So that's probably the last feeding they will get. So let's take a quick peek at the top. So this is how you want your hives looking going into the fall. They're a little grumpy. That's a first for this hive. So I've been feeding them pretty good to get all this foundation drawn out up here. So they're still not done. So I could feed them again. I flipped this one around so that lesser drawn out side would be closer to the bees. Got these 2 Pureco solid plastic frames here. These frames are okay. I don't like them because they flex, they bend. So when you're prying on it with your hive tool like this, it flexes in whichever way you're pushing on it. So they're filling that with nectar. Same there. You know, with this flow on, I ought to just let them work on that and not feed them again. And in the fall, if they need it, I can give them more. So that one's all drawn out and full. And we got eggs and larvae right here on the bottom. There's some good shot of some eggs right there. Queen's doing good. So if you remember, this started out as a double apame newt, 3 frames on each side, and one side failed. Then I combined it into the 7 frames, and before you know it, it needed expanding, so I put it into this Hive 365 with just the bottom. And actually it failed after I moved it into the 365. So I had the dividers in this bottom box, and one side failed. I pulled it out, then it was a 10 frame, and now and then they've grown into this. So there's a 2025 queen in here. That's all laid up right there. And same thing here. That's all full of just very young larvae, uncapped. So that was probably the bait frame to bring them up, because that's a 2019 date on it. That's full of eggs too. Man, thought we might see that queen. There's eggs all in there. She's just laid it. So yeah, I don't think I'm going to feed this hive anymore. I just wanted to show it to you. So this is how strong you can get a hive by feeding it through the nectar flow internally. Let's look at this acorn pink frame. Just curious. So even this frame is flexing. It's an acorn brand. There's a lot of bees in this hive. Yeah, so that's totally drawn out. And there's a few eggs right here. Queen don't care if it's pink. And this is all liquid. There's a few little pollen cells in there. And that's honey. And this last frame, let's look at it, because it's I call it a free frame, so they can do what they want with it. It was just a empty frame with no foundation. It's got popsicle sticks on the top that are wax dipped, so they can start pulling down comb. Oh, they just got started. Yeah, and it's big, so it's drone comb. Yep. They'll probably have that pulled down in a week, maybe. With the dearth coming on, they may not finish that. You know, I think I'm going to move this frame into the middle. Yeah, so they emptied this out in a day. Both of these. I think they each hold a gallon. Makes me wonder where they're putting it. Yeah, I really like this Hive 365. The thing I like about it the best, those feeders, ants cannot get into them. They're real tight tolerance on how the lid fits onto the body of that feeder. And yeah, ants cannot get in there. And that's great, because I have those big old carpenter ants that are a big problem around here. And the little bitty ants too. The little bitty ants can get into the cracks like in the apame, and they can get in there, but in this one they can't do it. So I like the Hive 365. This is from Hilco, so you can buy them online from there. I picked this up at the expo. I got a real good deal on it. I think it was $265 for the entire thing, and it has dividers, so you can make it. You can divide it into a double nuke of 5. Well, it's 4 frames on each side if you have the divider, and there's a divider for the second deep as well. And I think they have honey supers for them too, but it is a standard size, so you could put a standard honey super, a wood one, on here if you wanted to. So this Hive 9 here, that's this year's start from a new queen. and it started from a nuke. And I've been feeding it, and it's done. It's filled out in the top, I believe, and I don't need to feed it anymore. And that's in a Hilco wax dipped hive right there, so you can see how that's going to weather throughout the rest of the year and however long I keep making videos. Something interesting, so if y'all saw my picture of me next to this hive, it was bearded all the way up on both deeps. So just to kind of point out how strong it was and how many bees are out foraging right now, they're not there right now. So that's pretty telling. And it's got 5 supers on it. The last super I put on was undrawn, and I just basically put it on there to give them space, but it didn't help much. They still had a lot of bearding. The next one down, it has comb in it, and they can fill that up, but they weren't filling it up anymore because the flow had pretty much stopped. But the 3 below, I'm pretty sure are full. All right, let's get into these here, and I'm gonna feed these real quick. Okay, this is Hive 19. I think this is the only hive I have with the Sourwood Farm Virgin Queen that worked out, was this one right here. So this is an Apame 10 frame feeder, whole hive feeder. So they can access it from both ends. And I put a bunch of cinnamon around it, so that's supposed to help with ants. I think it does help with the little bitty ants, but those big black carpenter ants, I don't think it phases them. I've seen them walking all over it. So the feeder is empty. That looks good. So this would have been Ryan's from Hive 37. And that Queen's genetics has a very good mite resistance. And this is all drawn comb from old cold frames. So if I put a second deep on here, I'll give them some new frames to work on. A little bit of nectar there, or syrup. It's probably syrup mostly. When I get done here, let's get into that big tall hive. I want to see if those top 2 supers that didn't have anything in them, they may be putting something in it right now. So here's a nectar and pollen right here. So we should start seeing some brood. Yep. There's a nice brood pattern right there. She started laying in here and worked her way out, and there's a white larva out here, uncapped. So yeah, that's good. I see orange pollen. She's marked blue. Again, capped brood here. Same. So that's probably 1.5 frames of brood, we could say. Maybe 2. More capped brood. And it's backfilled in all those empties. So this is a good queen that's going back in and laying eggs in the empty spots. Don't see her, so that's 3 frames of brood. I could overwinter them as a single as well. So this is all young larvae. What's not capped. And she hasn't backfilled that yet. So I'd say that's 3, let's see, 3.5 frames of brood maybe. Or was it 4.5? I lost count. Here's another one. Yeah, this is a great queen. I was hoping I'd find her. And this is full of milk brood here, so she's laid that up. So that's going to be, I don't know how many, 6. Doing very well. This hive's going to be exploding when all these young bees emerge. There's another frame of brood. Gosh, where is she? And this is all liquid. Okay, that's disturbing. I didn't see her. I'm gonna have to go back through it. I'll do it off camera, and if I find her, I'll show her to you. Well, that's very disturbing. I went back through there and looked pretty close, and I did not see a queen. But there's evidence a queen has been in here within the last, I'd say, at least 6 days ago. Just looking at the age of the larva that I see. I didn't look on here. Don't see her. So this center compartment is to feed pollen patties in. I could go ahead and expand this to 10 frames, or to 2 deeps. But I'm going to wait a little while. I'm going to go ahead and feed them one more time, get my honey harvest done, and then we'll get back into tending hives and checking them out, making sure they're queen right and all that. And I'll put a brick on the front of this to remind me that it might be queenless. Some people have been asking about these spigots. There's a link in the description of the video that has these on there, but the link I have is for the bigger ones that flow faster. These are the slow ones. The bigger one, it's like 3/4 of an inch fitting, and this is a lot smaller. I mean, this gets the job done, but it takes a while. If you got a bunch of hives to do, you don't want to have to wait on this. Put the dummy brick on there. And the back here, this is to remind me that I have a feeder inside. I probably won't go through these two. I'm just gonna feed them. So this has a lot of undrawn, brand new 2025 frames. There's a few hive beetles on here. I'll take care of them. This hive is grumpy. Feeder's empty. So let's pull a couple frames and see how well they're drawing them out. This one's pretty much done on both sides. It probably was more to the center and I moved it to the outside. Well, that's heavy. Completely full. So here's one looks like they're working on. Yeah, they're getting there. This is an existing frame. There's eggs in that one right there in the bottom. It's all nectar on this side. So these two probably had brood on them. I'm not going to pull them out. Totally laid up with eggs. And older larva here, and there's eggs all out here. Same thing on this side. That one's getting drawn out nice. A little bit of pollen there. All right, let's fill this up. Probably 1 or 2 more feedings and they'll be done. I have those filled up with sticks, floaty sticks for the drowning. So this is a nuke from the nuke row that I took to the north yard so I could move it over here. So I left it at the north yard for a few days and then I brought it back and relocated it here. So this isn't a very strong hive right now. So this is from a swarm cell queen or a grafted queen. I think this is a swarm cell queen. The original hive in this location, I couldn't get it to accept a queen, and I finally gave up on it. And it was laying worker somewhat, and I actually combined it down there on that Hive 19 on the far left here on the end of this row, the one I just fed with the top feeder. And then after a week, I reduced it down. So brood here, see if I can see eggs. I see very young larvae, but no eggs. So this hive's got some growing to do if they're gonna make it through winter. This is probably from that second round of swarm cells when I was taking down my cell starter finisher. There's a nice looking brood pattern there. Same on this side. I call that the smiley face pattern. So what's happened is they started emerging, working their way out as the age goes. And she goes back in and she's actually backfilled in there, and there's larvae. And the capped in the middle is younger than this capped on the outside, and it's aging out, working from its inside out. Nice looking frame. Oh, something I wanted to point out here, right there. So those cells right there have been uncapped and recapped. So that's a hygienic behavior, and that's how they control mites. They can sense a mite below the cell, and I don't know if, I think what happens is they'll open it up and it looks good, and then they cover it back up. So that's a trait, a genetic thing that you want to keep propagating if you want to control your mites, which most people do. So that's probably from genetics from the old Wildflower Meadows queens that I had in the past. Okay, this is all laid up pretty much. Same thing there, and they're not drawing this out. Looks like there's wax on it. I said I wasn't going to go through these hives and look at me. I need to find a queen before I end this video. Ah, bingo, there she is. This side's all capped. And here she is. She's not a great big queen, so that probably, you know, she's probably one of those swarm cell queens that wasn't one of the bigger cells. She's not a grafted queen, she'd be bigger. So she'll be next year's honey maker. If she can survive winter and get this hive built up strong enough. They need a little bit more brood than what they've got to get going. So feeding them is going to help get them nutrition they need and keep them going. So this was formerly Dave's hive because it had Dave's insulated inner cover on there. I took it over in the barn when I took this hive down, so I'll put it back on here. So it'll still be Dave's hive. Number 17. More evidence that there's a flow on right now. There's not bees trying to get into this liquid feed. Okay, so yeah, I'm still feeding, trying to get these hives built up. This will probably stay a single deep, and I'll just build it up within here. The one on the end, I'm probably going to make it a double because it's way stronger than this one here. And this here, I'll just continue to monitor them drawing out those frames there on the top. So some of my other hives I'm still feeding, they're basically done. So the number 9 over there, like I said earlier, yeah, I'm not feeding that anymore. It's filled up. So there's going to be a fall flow too. So I don't want to, you know, spend a lot of money making syrup and overdoing it. So let's get into hive 5 there and look at those top 2 supers and see if there's anything in them. I'm curious. And look at this skyscraper. It's huge. Let's see. I'll set it right there on top of that hive when I get it off of there. Yeah, so when I would check this out, this top box and underneath and the lid was full of bees, and the whole front, you know, like I said, was covered clear up to here on the second deep. Yeah, so there's not near as many bees up here as there was before. This was just full of bees because I had it tilted up. So either their population is reduced a lot or they're all out foraging. This inner cover here, this green one, that is from my very first beehive that I got in 2013. Yeah, they're not drawing any of this out. It's all undrawn still. It's just a bare wax foundation. Like I said before, that box was packed full. I wonder if some of these bees are aging out and they're not making it back from the field. Completely empty. This one I think is still going to be empty too. There's a few bees on this side. Yeah, it's empty. So I put this on towards the end of the flow, and I put that other one on maybe a week or two later, just to give them some space so they wouldn't be bearding so bad. Oh, I don't see much honey in here. Here's a bait frame, and it's empty. I wonder if they're consuming it. Because I do remember there was honey in this one. That many bees, that's a lot of mouths to feed. So this one's full, except there's some undrawn frames they didn't ever draw out. Like that. But this one, it's all full. It's about 2/3 full. There's not even any liquid in the back. I wonder if anything uncapped, they're consuming it. So yeah, this super here is probably 2/3 full, I'd say. And where did all those bees go? Well, I'll just put them back on there to keep them safe. Just for the heck of it, I want to see what it looks like below. That's full. Good. So all that super strong population, it didn't do them any good because the flow ended and we had all the rain issues. But boy, they had the population. Hey, so before you go, be sure and subscribe. I need about 615 or so subscribers to get up to the 14,000 mark, and I'm trying to get there before the end of the beekeeping year. And give me a thumbs up. It helps my video in the search engine and helps people find these videos. So I appreciate that. So I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you on the honey harvest video. Y'all take care.